So today is October 5th, 2024, the day of our Lord. And this is another episode of the Club Rico podcast. So the way we do it is I share a bunch of stories on my thread, and then I go through them. I give opinion, we go over news. And we use something that is called foresight to see where things are going. I thought everyone had that ability. Everyone does not. Or we would not be where we are today. The lockdowns would have never occurred. The snake bite injection campaign wouldn't have lasted as long as it did. People wouldn't have did it to their children. And then a mere 2 years later are gobsmacked when magically these beautiful, healthy children are just being deleted every day while at school running or, playing baseball or playing football or just living. All of a sudden, healthy kids are just dropping like flies. A lot of them are melanated. There's a correlation, which if you've been following me, you understand the science behind the injections and what they do and who they affect. So let's go down the list and let's see what's first.
That cloud seeding is booming. They anticipate at least another 200 ground cloud seeding machines to be put in before next season.
Now, cloud seeding. If you want to know why, remember, I'm going to say this a couple of times through this broadcast in particular. California was the testing ground for the agenda going forward. California is a Democrat stronghold, so any and everything goes. It's a supermajority state. It's my former home that I evacuated during the lockdown. I had no idea that everybody around me was a communist that hated the country, that hated Trump. I had no idea. And I personally was listening to two gay men on CNN tell me what to think about Trump. And I lost a lot of years of a great presidency hating someone that I had no idea about because I was not personally disseminating information and paying attention myself. I was letting someone watch a video of him or watch one of his speeches and come back and tell me I can't just go watch it on my own. Why am I letting someone tell me what to believe? And I learned the hard way that those people lie. So when I say California can do whatever they want, California is no longer a part of the Republic. Neither is the state of Oregon and neither is Washington State. They're effectively gone. The Republic is in shambles, but those states left long ago. The way it works is when you have these injections, I try to be as vague as possible so that I don't get any strikes. What's in number 2 that you took, it only can grow in the dark. There are 2 things that we have figured out that slow the growth of what's in number 2, and that is yellow natural sunlight and estrogen. That's why you don't see women collapsing from it at the rates you see men. I think it's only 6%. 94% of the mortality are men. Women are not, unless they have some kind of genetic anomaly, elevated testosterone levels, possibly from some sort of medication that she was taking. Or if she's an active woman, that's an athlete that plays sports, exercises a lot, etc. Or her racial background. If she is from a sub-Saharan or a indigenous background, she would naturally have elevated testosterone levels, and those women are being affected as well. And when I say affected, I don't mean injured. I mean deleted, unalived. So the reason is, if you look at the track record of the Biden-Harris administration, let's see here. Biden outlaws natural lights. Yes. Here we go. Biden administration enforces rule to ban incandescent light bulbs. Why? Well, it's because these incandescent light bulbs emit a like a yellow natural light. What was in shot number 2? They require it reacts to LED lighting. That is not natural white light, LED light. I don't know if you've noticed, they've been changing all the lights along your freeway and in your house. If you're looking at those news reporters and these celebrities or these people that are, they have these those ring lights in front of them, or they have a big spotlight in front of them when they're doing their production. And a lot of these people are passing on camera. They're being showered in LED light. Because now because they're purposely doing this, which is why they banned incandescent lights. So you have to understand that's also what's happening. So to make it so that you have to use incandescent lights, so you have to use LED lights, they have to ban those and they have to cloud seed to make it dark. So for almost 2 years in California, there was constant rain, constant cloud cover, the first tropical storms. It was actually the same weather as the UK. And I don't know if you guys have been keeping score, but the UK was decimated by the Fauci ouchie. Yes. And also it was wintertime in Australia. Decimated along the Gulf Coast. Decimated in the dark. Where they were actually... And these LED lights, they cause a epileptic type shock. The creature, if you look at the initial studies of it, it reacts to LED light. You got to know that you got to actually go through my previous videos that are on Rumble, where I show you the evidence, I show you the proof, I show you the videos, I show you the experiments, and this is 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I was going over all of this, so. But it'd be in your best interest to go back and take a look. I'm gonna have to find a video person to help me with editing these videos and chopping them up and making segments, because everything I'm going to discuss, it all ties into certain topics. For some reason, even every time I try to upload one of these to YouTube, they delete my page. So what I have to do is I have to talk around that topic and be vague about it. So that's why they're doing cloud seeding. Luckily, they've outlawed that in Texas and Tennessee. So we're not going to have that constant cloud cover. However, we are going to be attacked by weather weapons. If you see the devastation that happened in North Carolina, and of course the recent discovery of the lithium mines, and also that you can use Doppler radar to create and to steer the direction of these devastating storms. Asheville, North Carolina is 2,000 feet above sea level, 300 miles away from the nearest coastline. In the mountains, since when do hurricanes hit mountains? And this is right before the election. They're trying to wipe out conservatives any way they can because they're desperate. And, people keep talking about the prospect of a civil war. There's only one we've run the war game several times. Actually, way more than that. We've been running these war games for the past 3 years since we first coined the term Black Army, BLAQ Army. And what the Black Army is when you combine the radical elements of the BLM, Black community crowd, with the LGBTQP. We know what the P stands for. When you merge those two together, you have what we call the Black Army. If you look at what's going on now, those communities have merged. And what they are, and their enemy is the republic as a whole, but more specifically, white men and white children that are male. If you look at their recent attacks, because they're afraid of white men, they target white male children in stabbings, and also with the propaganda as far as, to mutilate them genitals wise, with the therapy. Their mothers are looking to get back at the fathers, so they'll take them to a state like California where it's no longer considered kidnapping, but it's gender affirmation surgery sanctuary is what they're calling it there. And that's actually a real thing happening. But if you look, it's not Asian children, it's not Hispanic children, it's not really black children. I mean, the D Wades and them, they're the exceptions. Typically the rule is most black people, even though they might vote Democrat, they live extremely conservative. So it's not them, but white children, white male children, they are looking to sterilize and to convert them to their side so that they would be effeminate before they turn puberty. And by the time you grow up and you realize all those things that were done to you as a child, well, we all know with those young men who are ashamed of what happened to them in their past, we do know what they do to themselves. And self-deletion is a common practice. So that's why this is all a part of this depopulation agenda that has been pressed upon the Western world, NATO countries, by the World Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab, Yuval Noah Harari, and then everyone underneath them, the G7 leaders and the people that are in control. They're not doing everything to the whole world, just to NATO G7 countries. Even the whole vax agenda, it wasn't everywhere, and neither is the whole LGTB child meal. It's not everywhere. It's here. So, as far as this Civil War conversation, people keep talking about the topic and on the news, and it's starting to become more mainstream. Tim Pool speaks about it frequently, but they don't go as far as I will go because, they have to worry about being shut down, being sanctioned. That's their money. For me, it's not. So I can talk about whatever I want to talk about, and I can explain to you in detail how this will work. And let me see here. I'm trying to keep these videos under 15 minutes so that they can post. So I'll probably make another video now, and we'll go over how a civil war would play out. We'll be right back.